Verse, "For we have spent enough of our past time doing the desire of the Gentiles, and having walked in lewdness, lusts, drunken binges, orgies, carousings, and abominable idolatries." 1 Peter 4 verse 3. A call to transformation and a life set apart. This verse from 1 Peter serves as a powerful reflection on the past and an urgent call to embrace a new way of living. It speaks to the transformative power of faith and the deliberate choice to leave behind a life consumed by worldly desires. It's a verse that resonates with anyone who has ever felt the weight of past choices and yearned for a life of greater purpose and meaning. Peter doesn't mince words. He paints a vivid picture of the past time spent indulging in activities that stand in stark contrast to the values of a life devoted to God. He lists a litany of behaviors: lewdness, lusts, drunken binges, orgies, carousings, and abominable idolatries, painting a picture of a life driven by immediate gratification and a disregard for moral boundaries. These are the desires of the Gentiles, a term used to describe those who do not follow God's path, often driven by the fleeting pleasures of the world. The use of the phrase "enough of our past time" is particularly poignant. It suggests a sense of weariness, a recognition that the pursuit of these fleeting pleasures ultimately leaves one empty and unfulfilled. There's an implicit acknowledgement that these activities, while perhaps initially appealing, offer only temporary satisfaction and ultimately lead to a deeper sense of dissatisfaction. It's a declaration that the pursuit of worldly desires has run its course and that a change is necessary. The verse isn't simply about condemning past actions. It's about highlighting the profound change that occurs when one chooses to follow Christ. It's an invitation to step away from the destructive patterns of the past and embrace a life defined by purpose and meaning. It is an understanding that true fulfillment is not found in fleeting pleasures but in a deeper connection with God and in living according to His principles. The message within this verse is one of profound hope and redemption. It assures us that our past mistakes do not define us. We have the power to choose a different path, to leave behind the emptiness of worldly desires, and to embrace a life of purpose and meaning. This transformation begins with acknowledging the shortcomings of our past and consciously choosing to align our lives with God's will. This verse invites us to examine our own lives. What are the desires of the Gentiles that still hold sway over us? What habits and behaviors are preventing us from fully embracing a life devoted to God? The call is not to wallow in guilt or shame, but to recognize these areas of weakness and actively seek God's help in overcoming them. Living a transformed life requires intentionality and a commitment to ongoing growth. It requires surrounding ourselves with a supportive community of believers, immersing ourselves in Scripture, and constantly seeking God's guidance. It's a journey of continuous refinement, where we gradually shed the old ways of thinking and behaving and embrace a life of love, compassion, and service. Ultimately, 1 Peter 4 verse 3 is a reminder that we are not bound by our past. We have the freedom to choose a different path, to break free from the chains of worldly desires, and to embrace a life of purpose, meaning, and lasting joy. It's a call to transformation, a declaration of hope, and an invitation to experience the fullness of life that God has intended for us.